So today I want to share a few things. So first of all, from the Just for Today emails, this is 12-step recovery. We learn when someone points out a shortcoming, our first reaction might be to get defensive. But there is always room for growth. We can change and continue to grow to freedom if we can remain open-minded when others, point out our shortcomings. They're bringing to light opportunities where we can change and grow. And if you have a growth-oriented mindset, you want to. And obviously, if someone's attacking you, picking apart your flaws, they don't accept the whole package. There's layers to this. There's ifs, ands, and buts. But let's speak straight when we're recovery buddies or we're in a healthy relationship with this person. If we just react defensively to someone who actually is trying to help us, it limits our ability to receive the help that they're offering us. To let go of our defenses opens the door to change, to grow, which is new freedom. We don't have to stay stuck, right? The more we learn to greet change with an open mind and heart, the more we'll grow, the more comfortable for growth with an open mind. Surrender is the beginning of a new way of life. When we're driven only by self-will, we constantly wondered whether we'd covered all the bases, whether we'd manipulated a person in just the right way to achieve our ends, whether we'd missed a critical detail in our efforts to control and manage the world. We either felt afraid, fearing our schemes would fail, or we felt angry or self-pitying when they fell through, or we felt guilty when we actually pulled them off. It was hard living on self-will, but we didn't know another way. Surrender is not always easy, can even be difficult, but it is easier to trust God, a power capable of managing our lives, than to trust only ourselves, whose lives are unmanageable. When we turn our will and our lives over to the care of our higher power, I call Hashem, all we have to do is our part, as responsibly and conscientiously as we can, and leave the results to our higher power. By surrendering and acting on faith and living our lives according to the simple spiritual principles of this program, we can stop worrying and start living. I wanted to share, dating is an area for me where I feel like I felt like so basically I wrote a little bit. I felt extra defensive, fearful of changing, of growing, but really because I was afraid of being known. I'd had experiences where someone used things against me. So I practiced on a date, noticing things. So first thing I noticed was that men's eyes and bodies maybe desire different things. They're not always on the same page. A man might desire with his body something that his eyes don't want, or his eyes, his mind, right? He might want me, but he might be like judging me with his eyes, right? A man could pick up on my low standards materially, but they don't always realize that somewhere else I have high standards. So a man might think, I deliberately lowered my standards in the area to be okay with everybody, but then I also don't let someone treat me a certain way. So a man might think because I accept everybody in one standard, in this area I might be okay with abuse, but I realize men don't understand. I won't be tolerant of certain things. Another thing is that I had made a mistake. I let a man from the past return, and then I let another man from the past return, and both of them ended up terribly. I felt I should not let a man from the past return. If there'll be a special, anomaly, it'll be because of something clear. Also, I realized that something that a man could know is that every Friday I change my nail polish and my jewelry, like my ring, my earrings, the roses, a necklace, sometimes a pin. Reminds me, I left a pin on a dress. And so this is a way to sort of let a man know how he could support my feminine rituals, and if he wants to. Another thing is I can make sure a man doesn't crush my dreams or try to keep me all to himself. Like I can't go to school, work as a counselor, supporter, analyst, because there was a man who took me on a date, and he tried to say, he's like, everything I said that was my own thing, he felt threatened and became defensive, sarcastic, rude. When I was like, I would love sometimes to go just be in the middle of nowhere. He's like, you should go do that. And I'm like, why are you talking like that? He's like, and then I said, are you feeling defensive? He's like, yeah, I don't want to be left out. But earlier he also had kind of attacked with his voice, when I said I want to go back to school, maybe to become a counselor, an analyst, a guide, a supporter. Anyway, so those are a few things. Oh, and then there was something else I want to share. That r.h.sin on Instagram said, communication is how soulmates find each other. And asking for clarity is just another way of loving yourself first. You do not lose real love by asking real questions. That's just self-love, clearing the path for something lasting. So some questions are, what are you genuinely looking for right now? And I might say, I'm looking for like thinking about, you would also have to answer this question. So I'm looking for a partner to build a life with for the sake of the whole world. What does it mean to you taking it slow? It means letting either person take breaks to check in with how they feel. And if anything's happening too fast, to pause and find a compromise in a way where both people get their needs met, while one person can maybe have more time to contemplate. How do you know when you want something serious? When I feel emotionally safe and trust that person with different parts of myself. What would make you stop talking to someone immediately? Anything really crude, lewd, abusive, loud, boisterous, arrogance, like too much of any of that, I just can't live with that. I can't live like that. Too much judgmentalism, too much interruption. What would make you pursue someone more intentionally? It's more like a question for a man, but for me, probably intentionally here is important, because pursue someone is maybe when someone's withholding something I might feel like I need, like, but that's not healthy. Intentionally pursuing would be to follow up with someone who I feel is vulnerable and humble. They're humble and they're vulnerable with me. I will also do my part in making them feel wanted and desired. Are you dating multiple people right now? I don't like that. If I'm doing that, it's because a person's not meeting my needs, but I'm not ready to let go. So that means that they're kind of means to an end, or I feel like a means to an end, and I don't feel actually loved for who I am. It's often as a backup because the person feels like not secure, and so they can't give me the security or clarity. Okay, what does commitment mean to you? Commitment means that whoever I'm going to become, especially knowing that because with love, I might grow into a new, better version of myself. So I want to be clear that the person knows I could change and they're going to love who I'm going to become as well. How do you decide exclusivity? Well, I'm pretty much dating for marriage, so I would like to be exclusive from the get-go. I'm also not having premarital sex. What do you want your love life to look like this year? I would love to meet my husband, take some time to get to know each other. I feel when it's a really good fit, there doesn't need to be, especially because I'm not doing premarital sex, I'm looking to get married. I would like to make sure it's a good person for me and I'm a good person for them. Good, I mean a good fit. But that it takes time, like basically the man has to be the leader. He has to understand that if I'm falling in love and I have sexual feelings, he has to be able to say, like, we're doing this because we want to be in a relationship that could have sex for the rest of our lives together. Although there's Jewish laws about not all the time during the month regarding the period, the menstruation of the women cycle. But what do I want? So how do you decide exclusivity? What does commitment mean to you? And what do you want your love life to look like? What are you unwilling to compromise in dating? So premarital sex. And I would like a man who could support the relationship. I'm not going into a relationship where I have to be the breadwinner. I don't think that's healthy for either partner, unless it happens to be that I win some kind of lottery and then he could like help me in the house and we build our house and we do other things like that, but only in special circumstances. Then, so love like this year, yeah, I think I answered that. Like just to meet the person and we take our time to get to know each other, make sure we're a good fit. And I would like a simple, easy wedding. I would love to get married this year. When you're upset, do you talk or disappear? Sometimes I get really reactive if I feel like sometimes I run away. Depends how I'm upset. If I'm feeling shamed, wounded, abandoned, I will hide. Sometimes I keep coming and coming, like for the connection, for the safety. What does healthy communication look like to you? I love when there's silence and regulation. So like when both people are upset, we face each other. One might want to run away, one might want to attack, but we stay together find an inner peace, and then we interact about it. We say, this is what it looked like for me, this is what it looked like for me, and each one is like sharing that, and then I want to hear you, and then we try to see the other person's angle. I happen to have the ability to really relate to others, so I want someone who at least could meet me there. And proactive communication is you let the other person in on things before it's like confusion, or that they feel cut out, or no neglect. Like part of neglect is emotionally looping in the other person on our inner world. How do you handle misunderstanding? It's painful sometimes to feel misunderstood. Sometimes I like to go first. It's from like maybe impatient or immature. I want to go first. I want the other person to let me go first and explain so I feel understood. Because specifically with me, my trauma from my history was that my father would gaslight me. He wouldn't want to be interested in anything I had to say. He always misunderstood me. I always had bad intentions in his mind. And so I'd love for somebody who could be a little patient with me in this area when I feel misunderstood to let me go first. Hopefully he could, do you raise your voice in conflict? Not initially, but if someone keeps interrupting or arguing or defensively, like negating everything I'm saying and validating. I have in the past. I would love never to have to do that. What triggers you in relationships? It's a good question. I'm going to go on to the next for now. What do you need from a partner during hard moments? Patience, to not run away, to stay present, some level of care, like nurture, like I'm here for you. Words of affirmation are very helpful. I'm not leaving you. I'm staying right here. Take as much time as you need. We're going to work this out. Reminding me that it's just a hard moment, probably where we're triggered. What's something you're working on emotionally? Oh, self-validation, self-love, words of affirmation to myself, and raising my self-esteem. Not judging myself, but seeing my whole package. Not judging little petty things in me, nitpicking, but seeing the whole package. How do you apologize? Very profusely, very dearly, very sweetly. With sincerely, I mean not sweetly. Dearly, like in a very soft, sweet, nurturing way when I feel I wronged somebody. What does accountability mean to you? Just regularly checking in, what's mine, what's yours, and I feel I know at this point, like when it's really something I did wrong, when I wasn't being fair, when I'm basically treating the other person the way I want to be treated. Doesn't mean you want me to do everything that I want you to do for me. Doesn't mean you want me to do everything for you, but rather that we have some kind of agreement on what that means for both of us, and where you're validly able to protest. Protest, I think, is very healthy. You're able to be aggressive and do what you need in the relationship for yourself, as long as it's not too much stepping on my toes. And do you prefer to fix things or replace people? I prefer to fix things. I'm loyal sometimes to a fault, which I'm working on and not as much anymore. But there are times where I feel if somebody's going to sabotage and destroy too much and be irresponsible, I can't fix it on my own. That's a time where that person has made themselves redundant or unhealthy or ejected. Now I want to go back to that question, what triggers you in relationships? And I will answer it by saying arrogance, being talked over, somebody invalidating me, gaslighting me, harshness, shaming me physically in some way, definitely feeling tortured, like somebody over teasing me too much, like I want something and they deprive me, being neglected, being avoided, silent treatment, shut down. These are things I really don't think I could tolerate in a relationship. And I think that's all for now. Okay, so I welcome everybody to try these things. All the best. Bye.